Water pollution is one of the great environmental issues which we face today, and it could have an irreversible effect on our planet. Point source and non-point source pollution from factories and farms seeps into not only our rivers and streams, but oceans, lakes, and groundwater. This is a huge problem because that contamination then spreads across the earth. It affects all of us as it not only contaminates our drinking water, but it also is extremely harmful to our aquatic ecosystems. Pollution causes mutations and death for aquatic organisms, and as we have seen time and time again, it can wipe out entire ecosystems. An excellent example of the effects of water pollution on a very large scale is eutrophication. This happens when fertilizer, which is high in nitrogen and phosphorus, is carried down to a lake or ocean as runoff. When it reaches the water, the abundant nitrogen and phosphorus allows huge populations of algae and bacteria to grow and thrive. This is known as an algal bloom. Algal blooms are extremely harmful to aquatic ecosystems as when the algae die off, large populations of decomposing bacteria spring up to break it down, which uses up almost all of the oxygen in the water through cellular respiration. We see that it affects fish and other organisms in the water, and it causes them to essentially suffocate due to the fact that there is no dissolved oxygen in the water for them to breathe. As we all know, everything in the environment is interconnected, and so pollutants being put out anywhere can lead back to the water. Even air pollution loops back and affects our waters, as we can see with the carbon cycle. CO2 emissions from cars disrupt the carbon cycle, which eventually reaches the water in the form of carbon deposits, which are found across our oceans. Because of the interconnected nature of our planet, the effects of water pollution do not stop at just the water. Take the hydraulic cycle, for example. We see that pollutants that start in the water filter through the entire environment due to this cycle. Toxins are also absorbed through the soil, which will fall back to the water as runoff. This effect is often amplified by deforestation, as fewer trees means loosened topsoil, which can more easily fall into the water. Along with bringing harmful substances into the water, more runoff from deforestation can cause decreased turbidity in the water, making it hard for many predators to find their prey. We know that water pollution is an extremely important issue, but the question is, what can be done about it? According to the EPA, the solution to this lies in politics. The most effective way to prevent water pollution on a large scale is to pass legislation that would stop industrial pollution and fine the many large companies that pollute water. In addition to heavier fines, we can push for more strict regulation on what is an acceptable amount of water pollution. By doing this, it would stop harmful runoff into aquatic ecosystems, which cause things like eutrophication. And if industries had such a heavy fine for doing this, they would make sure that it isn't happening. By starting with our major sources, we can gradually reduce water pollution and save our aquatic ecosystems from collapsing. We understand how devastating water pollution is, and it is time to start making drastic steps to prevent it before it is too late.